Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, January 10th, 2025. I, of course, am here with your mortgage rate update, the only place on the web where you get to join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting to you on Facebook and on YouTube Live, talking about what's going on with mortgage rates and pricing, giving you insight into what's going on in the markets, what's driving everything, which way it's going to go from here. Coming to you from the Great Smoky Mountains, where we don't have any snow yet. Definitely some snow-like weather. Here, I'm going to take that quick moment while y'all are hopping on. Look out there, right? It's not there yet. Yeah, no, not yet, but it's coming. It's coming. We've got some snow on the ground. That's actually a ski resort right across the mountain from me there. But yeah, it's definitely, we're supposed to get hammered with some snow, if you will. Pardon the pun. So anyway, my friends, if you are watching this on the replay, don't forget what that means. This is not a gang sign. This means give me a hashtag replay in the comments, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Certainly appreciate that. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag an hello friend, share this post in a group. I think it's important to get this message out, so definitely do encourage some others to watch this one today. Before we get started, as I always do, I want to reward my friends who join me each and every day, who are here live. So we're going to go ahead and say hello to my friends that are here live, and then we'll get into all of the actual forecast and all of that stuff. So first one here this morning said hello was Mike Tebow. Good morning, sir. Hope you are doing well in Michigan. It's kind of funny that I'm going to get more snow than you will, at least this go round. So Kyle Mazikas, good to see you, sir. Brandy Brickler, good morning, my friend. Monica Dinkins, great to have you here as well. Yasmin Martin in the house. Good morning, Ms. Martin. So happy to have you here, and thank you for joining. Michael Love, good to see you, sir. Megan Lindberg, hope you are doing well. Amy Blauser, good morning. Glenn Boussard, great to have you here from the arid zona. I hear you guys are going to be hosting an extra football game with all that stuff going on in LA. They moved the game over to the Arizona Stadium. Mark Clark, good morning. Megan, you already have 4 inches in northern Alabama, right? That's why in northern Alabama snows all the time. Well, you guys be safe, stay home. I hope you've got like 8 or 9 gallons of milk all prepped away for you. Michael Love said 5 inches on top of what we got last Sunday. That's what I told my wife. But okay. This is a family show. Let's behave. But come on, these are just layups. Mike said 3 inches of snow forecast for tonight. Ron Siegel, good morning. Match your snow with our ash. Yeah, dude. Again, California. It is brutal. It's easy to now feel sorry for some of the stars, but they're still people and they're losing their house. But a lot of the normal folk, and I'm already angry thinking about what's going to happen with these insurance companies and the tap dance they're going to do to get around payouts on these. This stuff is going to affect mortgages because think about that market and how many houses this is. And during these times, insurance companies aren't going to just throw money at these people. There's not enough labor and materials to rebuild these neighborhoods overnight. And you're going to have people that are going to need to find a way to put a roof over their head, which means being that they were probably living paycheck to paycheck to begin with, they're not going to have the savings to fall back on to continue to pay their mortgage. And in situations like this, we should have some kind of federal regulation that servicers have to pause. I'm not that guy, but on this, I am that guy because they should have to pause the collection of mortgage payments. If your house gets burned down and you can't live there, or here in North Carolina, your house got flooded and you can't live there, you should get a moratorium on paying your mortgage because these people don't have the money. So we're going to see this affect. This is a huge event out there. We're going to see this affect the mortgage market and the delinquencies and things. We'll see that coming up. So anyway, that's not going to affect everything today. What is affecting everything today? Let's get into that. Robert Bashir's no snow, no fires, and thank God no hurricanes. Yeah, my friend, you've gotten your fair share of everything. You're free to be all right on this one. So quick recap. Yesterday was a calm ahead of today's storm. And I don't mean the one that's hitting the south where we're getting snow in northern Alabama. I am talking about what was happening in the bond market. Let's go ahead and turn the screen on. I'll show you all what we got going on here, and we'll get into this. So yesterday, you can see here there's a flat line after 2 p.m. Yesterday was a day of mourning for President Jimmy Carter. Bonds were closed at 2 p.m. Stock markets were closed all day. So you could see in the scheme of things, yesterday was a very, very level day. If we look down here at this chart, and I'm going to zoom in, which means that I'm going to have to refresh the page, but I want to zoom in so we can, should have had this prep for you, but we're going to refresh this so I can show you this chart here. You could see that, everything here is today, Friday, then you got Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So here's our entire week. This is 1/6, which of course was Monday. Mortgage-backed securities, the 6.0 coupon was around 100.40-ish, right? Dropped to about 100.25, and it's been holding there for the last few days. And then today you could see a huge, huge drop. Rate sheets today are going to be worse, much, much worse. Some rate sheets are going to be as much as a quarter point higher in rate. Not even a quarter point in pricing. We're talking a quarter point higher in rate. This was not what we wanted, but it was something that we were talking about that it could happen and that we needed to be prepared for. It is a brutal, brutal reaction to this morning's jobs data. And I'm going to go into that data a little bit more in a minute, but reprice risk today is also high. What happens when we get this kind of movement? Generally, we've got a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and we look for that rebound. And you could see here, this right here was at 8:30 when the data came out, when the jobs data came out. We got an initial, we got a lot more selling. So you could see this is triggered, right? This is triggered selling based on levels that were hit. This is already a bit of a snowball. Now we got some buying because there was a huge drop. When you drop from 100 to 99.70, what was that low there? 99.72. So when you drop 25 basis points like this, you're going to get some recovery because it's a big drop and you're going to get some buying on that. However, there's a very, very possible chance that we could see this start to go lower again today. And if that does go lower, you will see lenders reprice worse very, very quickly. Now, the outlook on all this is, as I've been saying, rates are going to move higher in 2025. So this morning's jobs data, let's go ahead and hit that. We'll get into that. And then we'll talk about why this is driving the outlook that things are going to move higher from here. So let me just get this lined up. Ron said that the fire area is the equivalent the size of Manhattan. Isn't that insane? That's tough. So, all right, let's go into a couple of different things here. So first things first, let's talk about the actual jobs data and this outlook. So I have been saying over and over that I think rates are going to creep higher this year. Mortgage rates are going to be pushed higher because of inflation, because the chances of a Fed rate cut disappear, and then because chances of Fed rate hikes reappear. We're going to start seeing more talk about that soon. All right, so keep this going on. So right now, though, this morning, the labor market is a huge driver on all of this stuff. The Fed has a dual mandate. The Fed's role is to maximize employment and ensure pricing stability. Price stability is inflation. They want the PCE, personal consumption expenditure inflation data. They want that index to be at or around 2%. So we have the CPI, consumer price index, and then we have the PCE, personal consumption expenditures. They're looking for the PCE to be around 2%, and for inflation to be there. Of course, it's been much higher than that, which is why the Fed was hiking rates and basically trying to slow the economy down. Now, it was funny. I was listening to I think it's Fox Business that I have on here. I have YouTube TV, and this is the only one that they were talking about the jobs data. And the reporters or journalists or economists or whatever the hell they are, the talking heads, they were actually coming out and talking about how the Fed. Anyway, I'll come back to this. So, but let's just go over. So the jobs data this morning absolutely crushed expectations. Expectations were that we would see about 155,000 jobs that were created. The number came in at 256,000 jobs. Remember, that's seasonally adjusted, which is a fancy way of saying it's made up, right? But it's supposed to keep some equality to the different months. But anyway, hiring came in much stronger than expected. Unemployment also went down. Unemployment was expected to be 4.2%, came in at 4.1%. Okay. Now, that's not a huge improvement, but it is an improvement. It's hard to argue that the labor market is weakening if you're seeing unemployment get better and you're seeing more jobs created than what was expected and forecast. Now, the Fed is not in a position to cut its interest rate, its policy rate, if the labor market is getting stronger and inflation is going higher. Remember, the reason that the Fed was cutting rates in September, October, November was because we had gotten a few different reports showing the labor market was starting to soften. We were seeing jobs go down, and the Fed had to balance. And after pushing up rates to try to fight inflation, they needed to support the labor market. Now, we can go back and forth and talk about the validity of the data, but the Fed is working off the data, valid or not. This is the data the Fed is working off of. All right, I'll come back to this. So anyway, this is a double whammy. When you have 100,000 more jobs created than what was expected, and Ron, you got a lot to say. I'm going to throw that link up. It wouldn't let you in last time you said, but I'm going to try again. I'm going to throw the link in the chat and see if you can pop on if you want to, and we could talk about this a little bit more. So there's the link. Anybody that wants to hop on, I'll see you, and I'm more than happy to have you guys on here, and we'll chat about it. So anybody that would like to pop on. And Ron, of course, I'm giving you that extended invitation. So the first whammy is 100,000 more jobs created than what was expected. Second whammy is the fact that unemployment went down. Those are actually two different reports. One comes from businesses. The other comes from directly reaching out to the public, right? John Q. Public. Now, I didn't see the participation rate here. Participation. Nope, that's particularly. Participation. I don't see the participation rate in this particular article. Let's see participation. All right. The share of the population working or looking for work was unchanged at 62.5. Revisions to the household survey left the overall picture largely intact. Unemployment rate in July was, why July? Why are they talking about July? I don't know why that says July. This is a current article. So the economy in December added the most jobs since March. The unemployment rate unexpectedly fell. Let's see. There you are. Let me pop you on. Hold on a minute, my friend. There you go. Did it let you in? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Let me know if you guys hear me. Hello. Oh, there you are. Does it give you audio?
I don't know. I hear you.
Okay, I hear you now. So let me just hit this real quick, and then we'll talk. So the economy in December added the most jobs since March. Hiring is led by healthcare and social assistance, retail, trade, leisure, hospitality. Government payrolls also advanced. Participation rate was the same. 2.2 million increase in payroll for the full year 2024 marked a slowdown in employment growth from the powerful post-COVID rebound that started. It was the smallest full year advance since 2020, but it beat 2019 increase of 2 million. And that's what people should really be paying attention to. Treasury yields and the dollar surged. Yes, we talked about that. So then your treasury yield went up to 4.73. Actually, it went up to 4.78, 4.79. It's down. It's improved a little bit back down to 4.73. That's actually a good sign for bonds and pricing. Minus 34 bits. Treasury yields and the dollar surged. I'm hearing me talk. Then your treasury yield went up to 4.73. Actually, it went up to 4.78, 4.79. It's down. It's improved a little bit. There we go. Yeah. All right, Ron. Go ahead and talk. Game.
I'm hearing.
You got headphones?
Let me go get some.
All right. So anyway, everybody, let me pop Ron out of here and go over the rest of the stuff I got going on. So we'll keep talking about this, but let me get my captions up here and show you the outlook here. Take a look at expectations for a Fed rate cut. So if you remember, in January, we were not expecting any possibility of a Fed rate cut. The Fed policy rate's currently at 4.25, and we were expecting it would stay there. But we were in March, it was a coin flip, and it was 40-40, something like over here, right? That I told you we're going to see that if we have a strong jobs report, this column, the column that makes mortgage rate or the Fed funds rate stay the same, would increase, and that would be bad for us. That's now up to 70% expectation that the Fed will not cut in March. There's a 60% expectation the Fed will not cut in May. It's not until June that there's actually expectations of a rate cut. So now the markets are pricing in a Fed rate cut not until the middle of the year. Now, what's going to happen next, though, I can tell you is depending on how the data comes in with the CPI data next week, and as we roll into CPI data, and as we roll into February, you're going to start hearing talk go from rate cuts to rate hikes. As we see strong inflation, as we see labor market weakening, as we see other economic data showing that people are spending. And then that was what I was saying about the talking heads. They were talking about, they were almost on the right track. They were saying that people are spending money they don't have. People are spending money on credit. They were their angle was that people are spending money with the idea that they're going to go ahead and that they are going to see a better economy under Trump, and they'll be able to pay it off then. That's where they're wrong. People are not even figuring on paying it off. People are not even considering paying this off at all. They're not looking to pay this off in the least because they're not thinking that far. You know, they're not thinking that far at all. People are just trying to survive, and they're borrowing money. So it really, our economy is in the hands of lenders. As long as lenders are, and I say lenders, being big banks and credit card companies, basically, because as long as they're making money on paper based on the interest and the payments coming in on all of this, and they don't see huge numbers of, inability to pay and delinquencies, then our economy is going to be okay. When we see a credit bubble, that's when we're screwed. When we get a credit bubble, that's what will tank the economy, and then rates would improve and all this stuff. I don't see things improving until that happens. I don't know if that happens. I don't know when that happens. I don't know how much more leash banks will continue to give to consumers and how much credit will go. But that's what's going to happen. So anyway, can you go ahead, Ron? You got any audio? Ron, you there? No, I don't think we're hearing.
Hello.
Anyway, there you are. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I've got a lot of background also, but it's kind of interesting when you look at some of the... Hello? You hear me?
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, so there are some interesting insights into the numbers. There's a big delay. There's a big delay on my end. I don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, I don't either. It's Restream. It's like we're on one of the news shows, so I'll just wait and then let you talk, and then I'll talk again.
I don't know if you want me to give you this. If you want me to give you this information, I found fascinating this morning that private sector added 223,000 jobs against an estimate of 135,000. Yet ADP said that they added 122,000. So that's right there's 100,000 jobs difference in the small business area, just going from what BLS says to ADP. The other thing that I found very fascinating is if you ever followed Jim Doty, he does a great job of the Chapman forecast. And he said one of Doty's laws is if there's ever a economist that says they've got a 40% certainty in anything, it means they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And he's an economist. And they came out this morning saying that the response rate on the survey of these numbers today is 43%.
Okay, so I was muting, so hopefully that eliminated some of your background noise. We'll have to deal with the delay being what it is, and that's fine. So, it's funny because all of the data that you're sharing and the points that you bring are very valid. I just don't think that they're going to matter much in the scheme of things. We've been talking about how there's different data points that show weakness in the labor market and that the way the data is being shored up. But right now, the momentum of the markets and where bonds are going, the fact that, in September, the 10-year treasury was at 3.7 and now it's at 4.7. And when Trump gets in, you're going to hear even more momentum about all these different things going on, whether it's talks of tariffs and tax cuts and anything else. You're just going to see it's the same thing that happened when he won the first time around, where mortgage rates went up because the economy is expected to do better. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, whether it's really better or not. Again, I don't know, but as far as where mortgage rates are not coming down this year, folks. Not anytime soon, possibly not at all this year. The best rates we're going to see are in the sixes. We're probably going to spend more of the time in the sevens. Right now, we would be back up pushing, much higher if that margin between the 10-year yield and the margin between the 10-year treasury and mortgage-backed securities was bigger than what it is now. And it's still bigger than what it has been historically. But that's the only thing that's saving us from seeing rates that are even higher than where we're at today. But consumers are going to be crushed by this. It's going to be very difficult to get loans done this year. You're going to need to really focus on a good argument and a sales script for debt consolidation and, purchases. You're just going to have to reassure people that they're going to have to stretch to get into houses, and they're going to have to, settle in a lot of cases for the houses they get. The problem is there's not a lot of cheap houses out there, if any cheap houses, but even affordable houses. So, that's my input. Ron, I'm going to stop talking for a minute in case you want to hop in on anything.
One of the other big comments that's come up has been that the over-excitement over the new Trump administration. And if that happens to be the case where that excitement is really seen or foreseen, it's going to be interesting because we're not, like you said, we're not going to see an immediate benefit. And with oil prices going up, the inflation's going to go up. We're not going to see the rate cuts from the Fed. And there may be a time that we just don't end up seeing that excitement. And that's when people are going to have to start worrying about, okay, I put a bunch of money on my credit cards. I can't pay for it. The economy didn't get better like I was anticipating. And that might be where the big bubble is. The other part of it is that even though inflation is going up and retail sales are doing okay, retail, the number was up 43,000 jobs. People are not buying more, they're paying more. So they're getting less for what they're buying, which is another big issue that we're going to have to deal with. And the other part that I put in the commentary there earlier was JP Morgan overnight added $20 billion to their reserves for bad debt, just because of what we're seeing here in California. And the other part that most people don't realize, those people that lost their houses in the Pacific Palisades area, it's horrible. There's no question about that. But those are all multi-million-dollar homes. And I'm guessing a lot of those people have multiple homes. That's not their only residence. That's going to be a big benefit or a big issue also, because they're smart enough to have gotten out of California.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Well, Ron, thank you for joining me, my friend. We'll have to see if we can get the tech stuff worked out a little sometimes, so that usually Restream has been pretty reliable, but we'll see. So, again, the takeaway here, y'all, we've been warning you. I've been warning you that there's a very good chance that things were going to go this way. we hoped that they would go the other way, but there was a very good chance that they'd go this way. And the current writing on the wall is things are going to get worse. If we get CPI inflation data next week that shows that inflation is not improving, or, forbid that it shows that inflation is moving higher, you're going to see another jump in rates next week as well. So normally I would advise, hey, let's let the dust settle. Let's get a little bit of a space after this knee-jerk reaction to the labor market data. We know this data should not be this good, but yet it is. And but this time around, I would not. I think that, hopefully you've locked before now, but if not, you still want to consider locking, because this is not the end of this road. It is going to continue to get worse from here. We're going to see mortgage rates that are going to move higher. You want to encourage borrowers and consumers to make their moves on this. So got it. Siegel, do me a favor. Shoot me here. Actually, I can here. I'll send you this. It's in the private chat. That's my cell. Hit me up after, and you can tell me what's going on, and we can improve any whatever. So, all right, everybody. Ron, thanks for joining me, my friend. Everybody else, have a good one. Hopefully, you guys have a great weekend. Have a drink on me, and I'll see everybody.